Hey everyone, hope you're doing great. I don't know how this summer is going for you, but for me, it's been kind of full of travel. And by full, I mean already 2 trips in the books, but with kids, it feels like 100. Uh, anyway, one of the things that I've noticed is that as fun as travel can be, it can also be pretty ungrounding and it can be tough on the body, right? So between carrying bags or carrying children or driving in a car, sitting on a plane, going on a ferry, all sorts of things that I've been doing, it's just different, and the body just kind of gets tight. So not a lot of time on vacation necessarily to do a full yoga practice, but it's really nice, maybe right after you wake up or maybe before bed, to do a couple of stretches that you can do. If you're staying at somebody's house in just a small corner, in a hotel room, really wherever. So that's going to be my offering for you today, a brief de-stress from travel practice. So meet me on your mat on a seat, in a seat. Yeah, in a seat. You won't really need any props because I assume most of you don't travel with props. But if you do have, a towel or, blanket laying around, grab that. Okay. And if you do have that, you're welcome to sit on it. We're going to start in a nice, easy seat here and take a few moments to get centered, to just find our breath and welcome ourselves to wherever we've landed, right? We can physically be in a place, but if our mind is still kind of on our to-do list or whatever we left behind, or whether we left the oven on or not at home, then we're not really enjoying the present moment. So let's get centered here. Finding a nice long spine, softening the shoulders, allow the neck to be nice and long. As you close the eyes, see if you can find a little more length, lifting the crown of the head slightly up. And then soften any rigidity you might find in the body. So as we sit here, finding that balance of structure and ease and freedom. Just for a few moments, simply narrowing your focus so that eventually all you can see in your mind's eye is the breath. Can you smooth out this breath so the inhale simply turns, evolves into the exhale, and the exhale rises up into an inhale. So kind of like waves in the ocean. No real beginning or end. Just a smooth and gentle lifting of the heart, and softening, grounding of the belly, the shoulders, the hips. Good. From here, we'll just nod our head. So slowly bringing your chin down towards your chest and lifting back up. And nodding it down and lifting back up. One more time. Coming back to neutral. Good. We're going to roll the chin down and then roll the right ear towards the right shoulder and hold here. Now we're going to add a little bit more intensity here if you'd like, so it's optional. Taking that right hand and very gently placing it over the left ear. So there's a little bit more weight here. Maybe taking the left arm behind your back. Now we're going to slide this right hand down to the mat and continue that movement to the right, sweeping the left arm up and over. And instead of just falling towards the right, push away with your right hand so that you're creating a deeper stretch here through the whole left side of the ribs. Good. We're going to fold this forward. So just sweeping those hands forward, folding over the crossed ankles, maybe tenting the fingertips. And then lifting back up to a seat. We're going to switch the cross of the ankles here. Take the same thing on the opposite side. So we're going to drop the chin, roll the left ear to the left shoulder, and hold and enjoy the stretch. And then decide if you want a little more intensity, taking that left hand over the right ear. Maybe the right hand behind your back. And then slowly melting towards your left. Sweeping that right arm up and over. And again, pushing away from the mat with that left hand to create a deeper stretch. Good. And then slowly sweeping forward. And once again, folding over your crossed ankles. Walking those hands back in towards you. And now finding soles of the feet together. And instead of just folding forward right away, we're actually going to give ourselves a little foot massage. Because I don't know about you, but with travel, my feet get super tired. You know, I'm on my feet all the time and you're carrying stuff. So anyway, cupping the tops of your feet with your hands and then allowing the thumbs to find the arches of your feet. And then slowly starting to just press and find what feels good here. Moving all the way up towards the toe mounds, lingering in any specific places that feel really good, and then making your way back. So really this is like a freestyle massage. You do what feels good for your feet. The important thing is that we're giving them a little attention and care. Good. And then with that, we're going to take a nice deep breath in and then slowly fold forward. Just any amount that feels good here. Not forcing anything, we're not pushing anything. Just creating a little bit more space, easing whatever tension we've accumulated in the body. Good. And then walking yourself back here. Good. I'm going to close the knees up like a book and then transition over to hands and knees. So tabletop here. And you can have your blanket or towel under your knees if you'd like. And then nice and easy cat cows here. So keeping those toes tucked under is my preference to get a little stretch there through the feet. And then dipping the belly, lifting the heart. Exhale, rounding the spine. A couple more times here again, making this movement as fluid as you can. And then we're going to take it into a full body roll or barrel roll, whatever you want to call it. We basically send the hips back and to the right, scoop our way around, come forward, round the spine, drop the head, and then continue. And again, a bit of a freestyle movement here. You can linger in any areas that feel good. You can go faster or slower than I'm going. Try not to overthink it. In opposite direction. So simply reversing the movement. Good. And then bringing yourself forward into tabletop again. We're going to thread the needle. You're going to take that right arm high. Take the right arm underneath the left. Drop the right shoulder, right ear to the mat. And then settle here for a few delicious breaths. Good. Slowly make your way back. Take a deep breath in and out. And do it on the other side. So left arm lifts, thread it through, and settle into your thread the needle on this side, dropping the left shoulder, left ear down to the mat. Good. Come back to your tabletop. We'll do one downward facing dog here. So lifting those knees, sending the hips up and back, and just taking a moment here to pedal out through the feet. And in doing so, feeling that deep stretch in each of your legs. Maybe lengthening through the spine by tilting those tailbones as if you had to, those sit bones up and back. Good. And then bringing those knees back down. And so we're going to sit in hero's pose. And if you do have a blanket or some sort of a pillow, we're going to try something that's going to feel a bit intense on the feet, but it's nice to stretch the tops of the feet. And so you're going to double it up, just so that you have a little bit of height here, and you can always play around with that. If that's not enough height, you can also do maybe 3 folds for your blanket. So we're basically going to take one knee and place it over the blanket. I'm still sitting on the heel of the right foot, and then the other knee. And so you're taking this hero's pose, but the knees are a little bit more lifted. So you're getting a really deep stretch here through the top part of your ankle and feet. And of course, if that's too much, you can just move the blanket off to the side. So while we allow this to sort of simmer, we're going to stretch a little bit through the wrists and the hands. And so taking your, we're going to cross the right wrist over the left, and then take the thumbs to point down, interlace your fingers here, and then sweep it in and out just a few times. Good. And then release other side. So left wrist crosses over the right, thumbs down, sweep it in and out. Good. Hands out in front of you. Make fists with your hands, and then just kind of like you were revving up a motorcycle, bringing those hands up and down, those fists up and down. And then take them out to the side and then roll. Yeah. And then other side or other direction. All right, releasing that. Finally get to take this blanket out from underneath the knees if you were doing that with me. Coming back to your tabletop and releasing all of that by tapping out the feet. Good. And then from here, we're going to make our way to standing. So no fancy transitions, just make your way to standing. And find a wall if you can. And so I found one. So before we start working with the wall, we are going to take a couple of, actually, no, since I made you find a wall, go ahead and come to the wall. We're going to start with the wall. So you're just going to take your hands on the wall and then slowly step back with your right foot. So pressing back through that right heel, bending through that left knee until you feel a nice deep stretch here behind the right leg. And then slowly trying to keep those hips even, we're going to lengthen through the left leg and walk those hands back. And I'm set up in a bit of a diagonal, but you would be directly perpendicular to the wall. Good. Now bend back into that left knee and step it forward. Other side, stepping your left foot back, bending into the right knee. And then slowly straightening through your right leg and walking those hands down. Again, squaring through the hip. So that means right hip draws back as the left hip comes forward. Good. Bending back into that right knee, stepping it forward. Last thing we're going to do is a down dog on the wall. So hands again to the wall, and then you step both feet back. And then you're going to bend your knees and really push back. Push back. So maybe the chest sort of moves down through the shoulders here, finding as much length through the spine, sending those sit bones as far back as you can. Good. And then slowly walking yourself forward. All right, so we're going to take it down, still using the wall here. So I'm going to straighten my mat a little bit more towards the wall. So the first thing we're going to do is thread the needle with the legs, but we're going to be close to the wall so that there's less effort that we need to make in order to stay in this stretch. So we're going to bring the feet onto the wall. The spine is fully relaxed on the mat. And then you're going to take your right ankle and cross it over the left knee. And so the closer your glutes are to the wall, the more intense the stretch. So if this doesn't really work for you, slide back a bit. And if it's not enough, slide the hips more forward. And so instead of having to hold your left thigh here, you can just take a nice deep stretch by relaxing the whole upper body and the face and the neck. Good, and then release that. And try it on the other side. So left ankle over the right knee. And again, once you settle in, you can adjust. You can move yourself a little farther back or more forward to feel the right amount of stretch. And we're going to release that. Stay where you are. Bring the knees a little closer in towards you. Give yourself a squeeze. We're going to take a supine twist here. So allowing the knees to roll over towards your right. And then open your arms out nice and wide here. Slowly making your way, excuse me, back to center, finding neutral, and then taking this on the opposite side. So letting the knees roll over towards your left and keeping those shoulders down if possible. Take one more big breath here. And then it's time for my favorite part of the practice, legs up the wall. So you already have your wall. You're already pretty close to it. If not, you can take a moment to scooch a little farther up. And then we take those legs up the wall, just like the name of the pose implies. Keep a little tiny bend in the knees so that we're not locking out the joints. And then relax, soften fully and completely. If you happen to travel with an eye pillow or you have your towel or something that you can use to cover and bring a little weight to the eyes, that can feel really relaxing. If not, that's okay. Just close the eyes. And once again, find your breath. And you are welcome to stay here in your legs up the wall as long as it feels good. I recommend at least 5 good minutes. And when you are ready to come out of it, simply bend those knees a little closer in towards you. Give yourself a squeeze. Roll to either side. Come back to a seat. And then take your hands together, rub them really fast until you create heat between the palms. And then cup those palms over each eye, just feeling the energy of those hands, the warmth of the hands, soothing the eyes. No matter how hectic your day has been or your day is going to be, know that you always have the option to take a moment to close the eyes or maybe place the hands over the eyes. Reconnect with your breath. Soothe your nervous system. Bring yourself back to the present moment and begin again. Thank you all so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed. Safe travels. Namaste.